666.
Hyundai Motor to be the first Korean car maker with a factory in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Industry and Mineral Resources, which we've talked about earlier in this episode, has signed an MOU with the South Korean company Hyundai Motors to build a factory for the complete assembly of electric cars in the kingdom. The MOU stipulates planning to build a complete assembly plant with the, quote, CKD system for electric cars and internal combustion engine cars to be located in Saudi Arabia.
Again, we referenced it in the One Big Thing, I think yours, about this sector and manufacturing sector, and they've been enamored and fascinated by it for years because of technology, because there's a market for it, and because it creates jobs and generates, and brings skilled workers. So Saudi Arabia's goal is to manufacture over 3,000 cars by the year 2030. This last year and a half has been amazing, with the Lucid Motors commitment to come to King Abdullah Economic City, the Foxconn commitment to come and make EVs at King Abdullah Economic City with Sear. Now, this Hyundai Motor one is interesting because it's both EVs and internal combustion engines. And it's also interesting. I didn't know what CKD meant.
It's like knockdown technology, right?
Completely knocked down.
Yeah.
That's what it's, and it's an acronym for kits of the loose parts necessary to assemble a complete vehicle in a customer's own plant. So, and I guess there's advantages, customs advantages, and other things.
Yep.
But, this is the first, Hyundai this would be the first Korean automaker to build a car manufacturing factory in the Middle East. I guess Hyundai has a manufacturing corporation in Turkey, but in the Middle East, proper Middle East, this is the first one. This commitment to do it would be the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. That's for 2022. That's a lot of movement in the space, as you mentioned, with Lucid, with Sear, now with this. This is a good story for the ministry. It's a good story for Saudis. And I think there's going to be more coming on this. But the knockdown thing is very interesting. When you're talking about setting up a manufacturing facility or any sort of industrial complex, if you're going to save billions of dollars with a CKD system, manufacturing parts where they're already being manufactured and then importing them to be assembled, it makes sense for many reasons, but efficiency being the top reason, because you just don't need to recreate the wheel in Saudi Arabia, but it's still manufacturing, and there's still a lot of high-tech jobs that will go into that. And so there will be a lot of knowledge transfer between South Korea and Saudi Arabia. And there was just a big delegation from the Ministry of Investment, I believe, as well as some venture capitalist organizations in Saudi Arabia going to South Korea. So there's an uptick in sort of the South Korea-Saudi Arabia relationship going on. Yeah.
And I guess the Lucid plant is going to be assembly only at first, with the intent to eventually become a full manufacturing. But that Lucid initially will be. I did not hear the term CKD with the Lucid. So there may be some variations on that.
So what would be the play there? Do you think they would manufacture in Arizona and then ship them over and start assembling there and then start, yeah.
Yeah,
interesting.
I guess. Yeah,
yeah.
And again, that's initially the intent is to move on to full manufacturing on site in Saudi.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. That's a lot of movement in the EV space. So we expect to sort of see a lot of stuff this year on charging stations and batteries in the kingdom. So yeah, hot spot.